Alright, I'm gonna go Pug One styles here. This isn't my thing holding the camera around like this. But anyway, I've been kind of stewing on this idea all morning. Well, not stewing, but, you know, thinking about it. And this is a point that I'd like to drive home. This is a point that I'd like to drive home very clearly. So come and have a look around with me here, okay? Like, this is where I live. This is where I sit. That's my shit. That's how my kids act. This is... Kids have iPads and shit all over the place. We got a fish. You know? And kids crap everywhere. What are these? Oh, I got more of these. Right? This is how my kids have taken my boxes from my guitars, the last couple of guitars I bought, and made some kind of derelict Ford out front. And yes, I hate the way it looks. Yes, it looks ghetto as fuck, but you know what? They're little kids. And they only live once. And it's not the end of the world. That can be cleaned up, and my OCD will let that go on for maybe 3 or 4 days, but I'm a dad who cares about his kids, so I care about my kids more than I give a shit about what people think the front of my house looks like. We have kids. The end. Anyway, the point is, why am I doing this? Like, why am I showing you this stuff? Why am I showing you that I'm just a regular person? Because I have no vested interest in what I tell you other than it's what I really believe. And it's what I really believe based on my experience. And when people talk about giving you honest reviews, and they talk about giving you their honest, unbiased opinion, well, nobody's opinion is unbiased. Your opinion is based on your experience and your situation and your perspective. And so if your perspective is somebody that has a shit ton of money to spend on stuff, then yes, you're going to think somebody like me is a retard. But if you're just like me, if you're just a regular guy who doesn't make a shit ton of money, and just leads a regular life and just makes regular money, and just has, you know, is just like everybody else out there grinding, trying to get theirs in life, then this video's for you. And all my videos are for you. If you're that guy, if you're me, that's who I'm talking to. I'm not talking to... I don't have anything against guys who are rich. I'd like to be rich. I welcome you with open arms just as much as I welcome anybody. But I take a ton of shit for my point of view. And my point of view is just that, my point of view. Based on the fact that I'm just a regular guy who has an above average interest in guitars, probably like a lot of you watching, and I don't have any vested interest in telling you something one way or the other. My motivation for telling you to do something is based purely on my positive experience with it. So I feel like anything that you're told by somebody who has a vested interest in selling guitars to you or selling guitar-related products to you needs to be taken with a grain of salt. And it's funny, but I now see guys who have a vested interest in selling guitars poking fun at guys like me for our opinions about things like factory relics and the kinds of guitars you should spend your money on and that sort of thing. And I have often said that I would rather have a bunch of less expensive guitars than one really expensive guitar. And I've done it again. I got rid of one of the Gibsons that I didn't really like, and go, oh, like, I couldn't be happier. So my wife, the absolute sweetheart that she is, like, I'm sorry boys, but I won the wife lotto, and you're just gonna have to get over that. But this, like, she just came home with that for me on Saturday. She just legit walked through the door and said, "Here you go. I know you were looking at buying that. You were gonna buy that. So here you go. You can have it early." Like, are you serious? Holy shit. That's awesome. You're basically the best wife on the planet. I love you so much. For so many reasons. You have no idea. My wife really is legitimately the reason that I get to do what I get to do. That I get to stay home and look after my kids. And that I get to make these YouTube videos. And now that I have, you know, I'm so grateful for all the people watching the videos. And that's allowing me to do stuff like this. To bring, like, what would I do if, and that's exactly what I was considering. Because it really comes down to, I have only, what did I pay for the two of these? I had about basically $1,500, right? So I was on that $1,500 budget. And I was like, well, what do I buy? Do I buy another Gibson something or other? Like maybe a studio, or maybe try to get a used deluxe Strat or something like that. That would be really cool. And then I was like, and then I just started poking through Long and McQuaid's website, and I spied that, and I was like, oh, I gotta have that. That was on sale for $6.99 Canadian, and it's just stunning. Karina 58 reissue, just an absolute stunner of a guitar. Plays great out of the box. It's 2016 model. Just a stunner of a guitar. It really, really, really is. It sounds fantastic. I thought when I bought it, because I obviously now have gotten this sight on, I didn't even get to play it before she brought it home. And it surprisingly plays very well. It's clean. It was in tune when I got it. You know, aside from a little hiccup getting the tools that were supposed to come with the guitar, like, it's great. Yeah, so very pleased with this. Anyway, so yeah, that's coming. She got it for me early, but I have to pay her back when I get paid from Google. And then I sold the Les Paul Special. I just didn't like the way the pickup sounded. It was a bit too bright for me. So yesterday I went to Steve's Music here in Canada. Great music chain here in Canada. Anyway, I was very well treated there. I went looking for a case for that Explorer, because I don't have a case for it. And I played a few guitars, because I never really get to get out to the guitar shop. And I came home with this, and that tweed case that's behind it. I really should, yeah, there we go. But just, it's stunning. And it sounds incredible. And it's really clean, and it was in tune, and the setup that needs a bit of a setup. It plays okay. It's got the tuners I like, and it's a 2015 model. So this has been sitting around Steve's for a couple of years, and it looks pristine. It has just one little itty bitty bit of lot damage there, for which they took $20 off the guitar for just that little scratch. And this was on sale also, so I haven't pulled the plastic quite off the pickups yet. I will after when I set it up. But it sounds great. You know what? Actually, I was thinking right away too, same thing with this. So I'll change a bunch of stuff. Like, I'll at least change all this electronics. But you know what? There's no problem with it. So I'm going to clean it up. We'll open it up. We'll see what's inside. I'll get videos of both of these in depth this week. It's just stunning. Gorgeous to look at, really nice to play, sounds incredible. So we'll get a sound test of those, I promise, when I do proper videos about both. But, oh yeah, so here. So that's not even its case. Actually, that's its case. This is the proper Fender one. The cheapest place to get these in Canada right now is at Steve's Music for 129 bucks. I've looked everywhere else. Steve's is the cheapest place to get these. So come and have a look. For 129 bucks, you cannot beat this. Okay, there we go. Got my tools, my receipt. People, if you buy a guitar, put the receipt in the case or gig bag, whatever you got it with. Keep it with the guitar. But yeah, it's just like, there you go, Batman. You can. So I walked out of there. So that was half my budget. Half my total budget was, this came to $7 with taxes and everything, $7.89 and change. The case and everything. And that one, because this was on sale for $5 something plus the extra percents I got off. And then the Explorer, which I absolutely love. That's actually really incredibly comfortable to play. This is like a built-in armrest. I've never played one of these before. Never. It sounds great. It's super comfortable to wear and play. To sit down with or to stand up and play with. My only complaint so far is this switch seems either a bit cheap or a bit loose. But other than that, I'm likely to change this plastic nut only because I have some Tusk blanks sitting around. And that's really it. That's my only immediate plans for it. So probably I will change that when I set it up. Because there's no reason not to. So I'll just immediately swap that out. That's the good thing about these vintage modified ones. They actually come with a pretty decent nut to start with. So there's no reason to change that. There's really no reason to change any of the hardware on these guitars. They're very well equipped. So if you, coming from a guy who has no vested interest, I have now, if you've watched my channel, I've owned probably well over 100 guitars. Now this is obviously my personal taste, so take that into consideration, but obviously within the brands that you like and the models of the brands that you like, there have to be options for the regular guy like me where you're not out of pocket a bajillion bucks, especially if you like to tinker. That's the other thing. I'm a guy who likes to tinker, so that's also my perspective. I get this home with the perspective that this isn't $1 million guitar, so I don't have to worry too much about affecting its value by tinkering with it. Whereas this I really legitimately worry about. The SG. Let's get into the sun at least here, shall we? Is there any sun to be had? Whereas with something like this, I legitimately worry about affecting its value by making modifications that are permanent to it. So, aside from, can we get in the light? Is that a thing? There we go. So aside from doing little cosmetic things that are easily something you can undo, I have not made any permanent modifications to this guitar, and probably won't, and not even really to the wiring. A viewer and now friend kindly sent me a pickup I would love to try in this guitar, but I've considered the fact that this factory wiring is only factory fresh wiring one time. So if I undo that, it's not factory fresh wiring anymore. And that, for call me crazy, is important to me. And the other thing that weighs on me heavily is the fact that I had to drill 6 holes into the headstock to install these tuners, but it's the one concession I've made with this guitar. This is something I cannot undo. But the concession is that these look like factory tuners. Well, this is what you would see on a regular standard, like Les Paul, is these exact Grover tuners. So you know, like I'm a car guy, and a lot of my perspective comes from the fact that I think like a car guy about stuff that has value. And this is a concession I think that if you can, if down the road, considering its value, you would say, okay, well, the guitar has all of its original components in the case, with its original receipt, with its original case, with all the case candy, and it's all complete, and all that stuff is there. And the only modification you've made is drilled 6 tiny little holes in it and put in awesome tuners that would otherwise be installed by the factory anyway. Which is why, like, yes, there are better tuners. You could have got some Spurzells or some really expensive this, that, or the other, but they don't look factory. Right? So it's completely a dead giveaway that they don't belong on that guitar in terms of its value. So, anyway, that's how I personally feel about this stuff based on my experience. Based on the fact that I'm just a regular guy who knows probably as much about guitars as you know. Like, I'm not an expert and never have claimed to be an expert. And just last note before I leave y'all, because now I actually want to go work on one of these guitars and make a proper video. I concede to everybody who called me a big dumb goof for putting this on the guitar. I agree with you. I hate it. It's coming off. I can't stand it. The black one's going back on tit sweet. I can't stand it. It's going back to the way it was factory. This is a completely factory guitar. I've not done anything to it except change the pickguard, and I'm not going to. It's going to stay completely, totally factory. It needs a bit of work. There's a bit of fret sprout right now. So I'll address all that in a video about this guitar when I swap back out this pickguard, because there's a few other little issues up here too. There's some fret issues. I think I want to do a fret level on this guitar. It's a 2009, so it's been around, right? Like, I don't know what's been done to it, but the fret tops look really flat. So I'd at least like to recrown those, because I do have a few issues right up here. You can't do those. You can't do that. You can't do that Led Zeppelin lick up here. You know that one. Anyway, it plays okay right now. I raised the action up a bit. But there you go. It's Tele Tuesday. So, in honor of Tele Tuesday, there's my 2 Telecasters. And I have to say, I'm struggling to understand why this one is. I'm the guy who owns these. I paid with my money. I'm struggling to understand why this one is worth 4 times as much money. Legit.